Hello, gorgeous soul, and welcome to this epic podcast. This is a place where you are encouraged and you have absolute freaking permission to unapologetically go after all of your dreams, all of your visions, all of your things on your vision board, like everything that your heart desires. I'm your host, Angharad, the High Vibe Babe, and I believe that we're all in this life to expand and experience our wildest dreams. If one of us can have it, then we all can. So that is the aim of this podcast. Each week I'll either be going solo or have guests with the aim to inspire, uplift you and give you the tools for you to live your most epic AF life and business possible. You can find me on Instagram with the handle @HighVibeBabe. Now let's get into today's episode. Hey beautiful babes, Angharad here, High Vibe Babe. I want to officially welcome you into another human design reading podcast, okay? So I have had a couple of people reach out and want to be on my podcast for human design readings, but I have actually recorded all of the ones that I need for the podcast at this stage. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing it again, but you are more than welcome to book either a personal human design reading, which the links for all of these will be below, they're 45 minutes long, or you can also book a business intensive human design reading, which is all about selling your high ticket offers and marketing based on your human design within your business. So today on the podcast, I have a beautiful emotional authority manifesting generator. It is so amazing. I'm so excited for this. Foster is such a beautiful human being, and we also actually speak a little bit about her dynamics with her manifestor partner. So if you'd like to understand either of those design types a little more, or an emotional authority, this episode is going to be absolutely amazing for you. I hope you really enjoy it, and let's go. Do you want to just do a brief explanation about how much you know about human design and what you would like to get out of this reading?
Yeah, definitely. So I just kind of know the basics of human design. Like my not so self theme is frustration if I'm not in alignment. My strategy is to respond, and it could be something internally inside of me. It doesn't have to be something physical or outside of me.
Mm-hmm.
And my inner authority is like, I just know it's emotional soul plexus. So like I have waves of emotions, something like that.
Yep. Yeah, that's totally true. Yeah, cool. So knowing the knowledge and stuff, has that brought about any changes or anything in your life or your business so far?
Yeah, so not making decisions when I guess I'm emotional, or like have emotional highs or emotional lows, like wait for that to pass before making a decision. Because sometimes I can get like extremely excited about something. Still learning about it all.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. So the biggest things we always start with is understanding the aura. So for your managing and understanding that really means you're a blend of a generator and a manifestor, which is incredible. I love many-gens. I have so many in my life. It's so beautiful. But your base is still generator. So you have that. Basically, your aura feels like a big warm hug to people, especially when you're in alignment with what your calling is and you're happy and your sacral is like, yes, queen, let's do the things, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why your strategy is actually to respond, is because your aura is a magnet to the things you desire that are in alignment with you. So that's the reason why your strategy is to respond, is because you decide and feel with your intuition and you feel into things, but ultimately you get to almost lean back in a lot of ways and really trust that these things, everything is going to come to you. And that's where leaning back and trusting is one of the big things you have to do to wait for the response. One of the things I've been taught with my certification with human design is it's any of your senses. So it's smell, taste, touch, feel. What's the other one? See.
Yeah.
Yes. So, so you could be walking past a coffee shop and smell the coffee and be like, yes, it's coffee, Or your girlfriend could be like, you could see her doing some journaling and you're like, yeah, actually, this feels good to me. Sacral's responding. So that's the reason why you're here to respond, is because you literally get to bring everything to you. So the trust comes in with your emotional wave and writing that out. So I'm sure you would have been explained before, but I will re-explain just in case. With emotional authorities, it's like a wave that goes from 0 up to high, then back down to 0, and then back down to low, and then back down to 0. So it's like a full cycle.
Yeah.
And the aim is for you to make decisions around your 0, so that in your high, if you make decisions in your high, then you get to the low, you're like, oh my gosh, how did I think I could commit to this? This is insane.
And vice versa. If you commit in your lower, when you're in your high, you're like, why did I not reach for more? This is stupid. So you're really here to feel emotions. You guys feel the most with defined emotional centers. I believe we chose our human design. I believe we choose our birth time and everything, and our parents and all the delicious things. So you really chose to be here feeling all those emotions and knowing that it was going to be like a massive part of your human experience. It was going to be really impartial for the things you're going to do in this life.
Maybe that's why I was always being called to do acting.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Well, you definitely would know how to feel the feels and play those roles, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's really beautiful. And the other thing with emotional authorities is, okay, so you technically actually have 3 authorities. So if you see on a chart, you have your sacral defined, which is the second square up from the bottom.
Yeah.
You have your, off to the right, the triangle is your solar plexus, your emotional authority. And then to the left, the far left, is your spleen. So that's also another authority. So spleen is like an immediate sort of answer, which kind of would go hand in hand with your gut. It's like I've got a splenic authority. It's kind of like a full body within the first couple of minutes of thinking about something. You sort of just know what the right answer is.
Is it like an intuition?
Yeah. This is how your intuition is speaking to you. And it might feel, my whole body almost feels like it's tingling, sort of, almost. It feels almost nervous, kind of, in a way. I don't really know how to describe it any other way, but it's just kind of this really strong knowing that sort of comes from out of my body. Does that make sense to you at all?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So it's like the body response, like the nervousness almost, but then there's like the out of the body knowing. And then your sacral goes or Have you heard about that before? Cool. Sweet. So that's a strong gut. There we go. Very common for genes and mini genes to literally say or all the time as well, which used to drive me insane because all of my family, my actual family and my like extended family are all generators, all mini genes. So they do it a lot and used to drive me insane. But now I know them, it's enabled me to give them a lot more grace. But
that's like a yes or no.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So your sacral is constantly talking to you about so many different things, about the conversation with someone, whether you should say this thing, whether, it's not something you have to wait on like your emotional authority. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So you will probably find that, say, for instance, with hiring a coach, right? Because I know you've had one-on-one coaches before, right?
Yes.
How it would work is you would probably get an instant response from like your spleen and your gut saying yes to work with them, right?
Yeah.
And then from there, you wait until you're around your 0 with your emotional cycle. And then you get the full scale, you sit it out and see how it feels then. And then you go ahead and act.
Okay. Emotional ways, like for Manny Jan, that could be like within an hour or like within a day.
Yeah. So that's the other big key with emotional authority is when you lean into your feelings instead of trying to run away from them, like trying to avoid the feelings or box them up, your cycle actually becomes a lot quicker. So a full cycle, so you're talking about 3 zeros in this whole cycle, I've seen up to like a month for the whole cycle, and I've also seen, well, I've heard of up to 24 to 48 hours being like the shortest.
Okay.
So there's 3 opportunities in that time to have decisions, but the key is really trusting that you're here, you chose to have this emotional experience as a human being in this lifetime, and then leaning into all of the feelings and just knowing that it's part of your life. And then that way it sort of speeds up the process for you to be able to make decisions.
Okay. Lean into all the feelings. That's good.
The other thing with when you go to make that decision around your 0 is that people say, I don't have an emotional authority, so I'm not actually speaking from experience, but my mentor and a lot of people say that it doesn't ever feel like a for sure, like hell yes. It's more like a 70 to 80% yes or no.
Okay.
And that's because you felt the full range of emotions around this decision. So in your high, you felt like, hell yes, I'm on top of the world. Let's fucking do the thing.
Yeah.
And in the low, you've been like, nah, girl, no way. This is insane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like your marker is about 70 to 80% sort of thing.
Okay, cool.
Now, the next thing for you, because you're a manifesting generator, how it actually works is, so we've got the making the decision down packed, which is sacral, spleen, emotional center, responding, all those things down packed. Once you've come to a decision, then you flick into manifestor mode. So then manifestor strategy is to inform. So you need to inform people around you that you've made a decision. You do it gracefully, not like, I'm not sure, have you experienced this before where you like make a decision, you're really loud about it and it creates like big ripples in people that make them really uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a way of doing that is by doing it more peacefully. So for me, I find that like doing it at a time that I know other people are more, the close ones around us, our partners, for instance, they're more receptive to you telling them your big ideas or big decisions at certain times of day or at certain after, maybe not just after they've come home from work, or do you know what I mean? I call it like set myself up for success with the people that I'm talking to.
Yes.
So and that's how I inform peacefully, is just by really taking into consideration their things that they've got going on, maybe waiting for their emotional wave to be around zero if you're tracking, if they're communicating that with you and they're tracking it, that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And so that's how we then move into your working mode, and then you literally have the blend of the sacral going, hell yes, hell yes, hell yes, let's do this, and the manifesting energy of like the urges and the like, let's go, this is amazing, the downloads, all these sorts of things. So when I find that people in my life, the manifesting generators I've known in my actual, in my family life especially, the manifesting generators can quite often surprise other people with their decisions, and the manifestors too, but they can surprise people with their decisions and people can be like, whoa, where did that come from? And then, but it's just because they hadn't informed people around them that they were going out for dinner. Something so little can just be a really big deal because they just can't almost read you in the way that they can other types.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. The last thing you wrote about was manifesting. So I'll just pull up your chart again. You are a non-specific manifestor. That's the second arrow on the right above your head or by your head.
I don't know a lot about that.
Cool. So that's specifically for manifesting. So you are because your arrow is facing to the right, it's non-specific. So I'm like this as well. So for instance, if you're trying to manifest a house, how you would do it is you would think about like maybe the sort of area you want to be in and probably 3 to 4 bedrooms and maybe like a rustic country feel, and have a bit of garaging, a nice kitchen with like maybe a nice view out, a good size section or something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas a specific manifestor would go, okay, I want it to have a blue fence. It's going to have 4 bedrooms. The master bedroom is going to be double the size as the other bedrooms. It's going to have an all-white kitchen, and it's going to be polished floors throughout, and it's going to overlook the sea on an elevated sea view and an acre section.
Okay, so like with manifesting, it could be a bit broad. Like I'm pretty sure that's how I pretty much manifested my house.
Yeah, that's what I find as well. Like for me, if I was to actually, because I'm this as well, I'm a non-specific manifestor. If I was to sit down and actually visualize the perfect house that I wanted, I would actually kind of struggle. It just wouldn't, It feels forceful to me, which is really good. And I'm actually yet to come across a non-specific manifestor who finds it good to really think of the exact things they want when they're manifesting. So yeah, be broad and like drop into your body and see how you'd feel and maybe what it would smell like. And, like maybe you'd want some sort of like florally flowers, like the senses more than necessarily the actual little details. Like think about, maybe it will be close to a restaurant you really love, or, just something, those sorts of more, how it makes us feel more feminine, because it's the feminine expression of manifesting. So anything to do with our senses, dropping in how we're feeling, all those sorts of things is kind of the way we lead with our manifesting.
Okay, cool. That's good to know.
So alignment in business really comes down to you trusting your decisions and really leaning into your decision-making processes. And that's when my clients, myself, everyone flourishes. Because what happens is when we're in alignment with our decisions and our trusting in ourselves, because it always starts with us first, right? Everything always starts with us. What happens is your aura becomes more magnetic. You guys as many-gens are like literally the sparkle of the room. You guys are so magnetic. It's incredible. And so the more you're in alignment with your decisions and trusting yourself and listening to your intuition and doing all the things and then informing once you've made all of the decisions, the more magnetic your aura comes and the more everything comes to you.
Okay, that makes sense.
Cool.
One question.
Yes, go.
Where it says the profile 2-4, what does that mean?
So I am a 2-4 as well. So a 2-4 is, it's called hermit opportunist, which I describe it, a 2 line is being alone, basically. So you guys both, I'm speaking to you like about both of you, but not anyway.
Yeah.
You both need alone time. Being alone is really, really important for you guys, and taking time to like, I imagine it to be, it's kind of like de-shelling for me, like de-shelling energy. Also, that's probably a manifestor thing as well, because I don't have that defined sacral. So I take that on a lot, being like literally the life force of the world, you guys. And then the 4 is pretty much being a socialite as well. So we have the beautiful mix of being wanting to be alone and being a socialite as well. So the 2 line, the first number that comes for us is typically up for about the first 30 years of our life. That'll be the major important thing. And then the second profile number would be more important for the rest of our lives, sort of thing, except with some of the profile lines actually have another change. I think it's the number 5. It changes again when you're about 60 or something like that. But for these ones, 2 and 4, they're both still really important to us. But the first number is the strongest focus for about the first 30 years. And then the second number is more important for the remainder years.
Awesome.
So your partner, Aaron, he's a manifester, which I'm so damn excited about. So I can talk quite a bit about your relationship. He's also emotional authority. So you guys are going to get each other really well in the regards to like feeling the full range of emotions and understanding the wave. And he'll see you lead yourself through that and be able to basically take inspiration from that, not necessarily mimic it. But the reason why their strategy is to inform is because their aura can be difficult for other people to read. Projectors are kind of, that rule doesn't fit in for because they literally penetrate auras, but we need to inform because people just don't really get us. We're only 7% of the world, so we're very rare now, and our not self theme can be very strong, which is anger.
Yeah.
So we've got a defined throat, and so it often comes out through yelling. And so there's a difference between like being angry and the not self theme of yelling. It feels like I'm pushing energy, you know, like an invisible wave of impact of, it's really, really intense. But once again, it always comes back to digging through the layers for me and figuring out that I was just angry with myself for not doing my morning routine, or I didn't go for that walk that afternoon and decided to do the housework instead because that's what my family needed, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And because we don't have the defined sacral like you do, we don't have that consistent life force energy. So for generators, you don't have energy, you create energy, just like a power plant. It doesn't have energy, it creates energy through moving, through whatever, you know, whether it's water or chemical or wind, whatever sort of way it's generating power. You guys generate your power through moving and through doing things, especially that are really aligned for you. Whereas manifestors don't work like that. We just get a random urge of energy, of inspiration, and we go and act on it. And that could last 30 minutes, it could last 30 hours, and it might not come back again for 2 hours to 2 weeks, the energy and the urge. So we often create a lot of stories and feel really insecure and worried that, you know, we don't put out as much consistent energy as other people, or that we feel like we're very caged. As children, we're actually born not needing parents from the parenting side of it. Obviously, you need a parent to like feed you and all the things. But we're the only type who doesn't need any sort of external stimulus at all. Our strategy is just to inform, so we don't have to wait for any external stimulus. We don't have to wait for an invitation from someone like a projector does, or a lunar cycle like reflectors do. We just get the urge, check in with our authority, and just go. So within your relationship, it works actually quite well. He's got a 2 profile, and you do as well. It's really important for him to get some space to like clear out his sacral chakra, basically, because where we have open centers, so all the squares and triangles and diamonds in our body graph, where ours are not colored in, that means the people around us who have defined ones, which means it's colored in, we're taking on that energy all the time. So he's taking on your sacral energy, which can be good and bad. So it can be used really well. Like, say for instance, you want to go to the housework, and he's like, sure, I'll come and do it. He can feed off your sacral energy and sort of get it done. But that's actually when we can often find we have a lot of anger come up, our not self theme, later on, or in a few weeks to come or whatever, because we've been pushing ourselves too hard and we didn't actually have the urge or the alignment to go and do it, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
And then we can hit burnout. Everyone can hit burnout if we're not following our self theme. That's if we've got our not self theme a lot, that's when we know we're, you know, need to take care of ourselves a lot. So the big thing for your relationship is he needs to inform you and you need to inform him.
Yeah,
him.
I think that's something that I definitely need to work on, is informing more.
Cool. Yeah. So he has a defined, if you look at his chart, the diamond below the throat center, the yellow one, is defined. So that's the G center / identity center.
Yeah.
And that means that he will have a sense of identity. Like when he finds it, like he'll be like, oh my gosh, I know who I am. And the absence of that can be quite strong. Whereas for you, you have it undefined. Yours is white. So this means that, firstly, I see a lot of people who have this, they can basically attach your identity to a relationship or to a house or to a job or your family maybe. And then as soon as something goes south, as soon as you move house, as soon as you change job, as soon as like your family, you have an argument with your family and things are off for a few months or your relationship breaks up, then your whole identity crumbles because you've placed your identity in that.
Yeah, I used to do that when I was younger. Like really badly. Not so much anymore.
That's cool. So
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so now basically you've chosen to, I describe it as like this feminine expression to sort of go with the flow and enjoy. Also, you as a mage, and this will kind of go hand in hand, like enjoy being an actor for 10 years and then enjoy being a full-time mum for 2 years and then enjoy like this house for a couple of years and enjoy sort of like the throes of life and just enjoy sort of the change and see that how that makes you feel about yourself, but not like literally leech onto something and latch onto something as your identity, but it's more like just develop the different expressions of yourself based on the different periods of life you're in rather than attaching to things.
Yeah, definitely. That's good. Makes sense.
Yay. So how's it all feeling?
Yeah, it's feeling really good. I've got a lot to work off and integrate into my life and just keep practicing on like firing up my motor. Like right now I'm in the season of like slowing down and then I'll be in the season of healing. And then, but like even through this time, I'm still able to do things, not physically, but like mentally and online, if that makes sense.
For sure.
So it's like just integrating all of that together and making things more smoother for myself.
And go be that sparkly managing in the world.
Yeah.
That's having everything come to her.
That's what I like.
Yes, queen. I love it. Okay, well, this has been such fun. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, this has been really good. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
If you have enjoyed this episode, I would adore if you would screenshot it, chuck it up on your stories with your favorite takeaway moment, and tag me at HiVibeBabe on Instagram so that more people can see this and get this content and get this message out there to really shape and change and impact other people's lives. Do you desire to be around more high vibe women who really get you, who encourage you, who like support you no matter what? Yeah, well, guess what? I have a place that you belong. It is called High Vibe Babes Community. It is a free Facebook group and I would love to have you in there. There are so many free trainings and epicness in this group, so please get your booty in there. It would mean the world if you would subscribe to this podcast, do the reviews, the rating, the stars, all of the things. Thank you so much for being here. I cannot wait to chat with you on the next episode. I'm sending you all of the vibes and all of the love. Over and out from Angharad, the High Vibe Babe.